I'm getting absolutely demolished in my picks. But nevertheless, we have to continue on and go for the gold, as people would say, as a good friend of mine, Sean Fitzpatrick, says. I think he's beating me this year. I'm actually going to have to go and check my comments and compare ours. So the last week, week 6, I went 7-6. Total of 49-41. My losses were the Packers, the Falcons, the Bucks, Jaguars, the Chiefs, and the Broncos. I lost. I didn't expect the Broncos to get blown out like they did. I sure as hell didn't expect the Steelers to beat the Chiefs. I would have won if Aaron Rodgers didn't get killed, and I definitely should have won with the Falcons game. But nevertheless, we're moving on into Week 7, starting off with tonight's game in about 3 hours. We have the Chiefs and the Raiders. Now, I'm going to take the Raiders today, and I think this is Amari Cooper's breakout game. I say it every single week, but I think this is the week for Amari Cooper. And I feel like the Chiefs had a salty loss last week, so I feel like the Chiefs are going to go on a little bit of a losing streak the next 2 to 3 games. So I'm going to take the Raiders. Next up, we have the Bucks and the Bills. I'm taking the Buffalo Bills. I'm off the Buccaneers train. I picked the Buccaneers to go to the playoffs this year. Obviously, they look really, really bad. They're losing really shitty games, but I'm going to take – and Jameis Winston's not really throwing, so I'm going to take that defense of the Buffalo Bills. Next up, we have the Bears and Panthers. I'm going to take the Panthers. I can't trust the Bears right now. The only thing they have going for them is Jordan Howard, but the Panthers have a really, really good run defense, so I'm taking the Panthers. We have the Browns and Titans next. I'm taking the Titans. The Browns stink. It's simple as that. Then I believe we have the Packers and the Saints. I can't even read my handwriting. That's how shitty I am. But I believe it's the Packers and Saints. I'm taking the Saints. Obviously, the Packers don't have Aaron Rodgers. I think the Packers season is done, unfortunately, unless they go and get some sort of viable quarterback by the trade deadline. But I'm taking the Saints after last week, after that monstrous 52-point performance they had. So I'm taking the Saints. Up next, we have the Colts and the Jaguars. As good as Jacoby Brissett looks, as good as Brisket looks, I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. I think their defense is crazy. Jalen Ramsey is amazing, and A.J. Bowie. Those guys are some of the best. They have some of the best pass ratings against them. They're insane. So I'm taking the Jags. Next up, we have the Cardinals and the Rams. The Cardinals stink, even with Adrian Peterson. I'm taking the Rams in a close win. Up next, we have the Jets and Dolphins. I didn't want to pick either team because I hate both these teams, but I end up taking the Dolphins. I think the Jets had a very salty loss last week. They should have beat the Patriots, but I'm taking the Dolphins. I think Jarvis Landry is going to have a great game. I think Jay Ajayi is going to have a fantastic game. I think he's going to run all over the Jets, so we'll see. Next up, we have the Ravens and Vikings. I'm taking the Vikings. I don't care who plays at quarterback. That defense is too good. And Jerick McKinnon's looking very, very well. Latavius Murray's looking very, very well. I like the Vikings in this matchup. Next, we have the Cowboys and 49ers. This is a huge shout-out to my boy Roger from work. I'm taking the 49ers over the Cowboys. You hear that, Murphy? My buddy Murphy. A couple guys I work with. He's a 49ers fan. Murphy, I'm taking the 49ers. Watch that rookie quarterback you guys have who looks great in the preseason. Tim Tebow looked great in the preseason too. I'm taking the 49ers for the upset. Now we have the Giants and Seahawks. I'm taking the Seahawks. The Seahawks are the best, I believe, have the best red zone defense in the league. The Giants just stink. I don't care what they did to Denver last week. It was a fluke. So I'm taking the Seahawks. Next up, we have the Bengals and the Steelers. Even with the Bengals, with their halfway decent offense, I'm taking the Steelers. How can you – it's just really hard to pick against Le'Veon Bell. It's really hard to pick against Antonio Brown and Big Ben, obviously, as bad as he is playing. I'm sorry that my dogs are barking. Chargers and Broncos, I'm taking the Chargers over the Broncos. Broncos had a really shitty loss. They're going to take another loss this week to the Chargers and Melvin Gordon. Falcons and Patriots. I'm taking the Falcons. Julio Jones will have a great week if he plays. Devontae Freeman, Tevin Coleman are going to have great games if they play. And last but not least is the Eagles and the Redskins. Now, by the jersey I have up, Fletcher Cox, he's going to get deep into there. He's going to have that deep penetration, as the Bitterbirds would say, and the Eagles will beat the Skins this Monday night. Carson Wentz is going to have a career game. I believe Carson Wentz is going to throw for over 400 yards that game. I believe that Alshon Jeffrey will have a great game, especially with no Josh Norman, no Jonathan Allen. I think we're going to have a good day against these guys. But guys, enjoy it and have a good week.